Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brian here. Wanted to make this video giving a 2024 election update on how polling is going for candidates and what's going on in the system and mainstream and everything. So, let's get right into it. So, first things first, some news that just came out today, this afternoon. Doug Burgum, the North Dakota governor and presidential candidate, has suspended his campaign for president. Doug Burgum, I honestly feel really bad for because they didn't in the last debate. They wouldn't let him debate, and then the first two debates that he did qualify for, or they refused to let him. They barely gave him any time. He got the least amount of time in both the two debates he was allowed in, and the third one he wasn't even allowed in. So I feel honestly really terrible for him. I don't think he would be doing any better than any of the other candidates because he's not hugely inspiring. But I mean, really, in that second debate, he really tried getting on the conversation, and they wouldn't let him. Um, and other candidates talking over him and stuff. I mean, it was just really bad. I feel really bad, but at least he's respecting the voters enough that he knows that he's not going to be the nominee, that he's suspending his campaign. Much respect to him. I don't condone it because he doesn't want to criticize Trump and everything, but I'll be honest. He's much better than Nikki Haley. I would much rather have him up there than Nikki Haley or Vivek Ramaswamy or Trump or Biden. I would much rather have him. But yeah, Doug Burgum's out of the race, so Doug Burgum, wish you well in your future life in politics and the rest of your terms as North Dakota governor. And Doug Burgum's out, so good luck to you, Doug Burgum. In other news, we talked about this last night. It is still happening. Bobby Kennedy is destroying as an independent candidate. He is still the number one threat to Trump and Biden in the two-party system. Polls are like what I said last night. He's a lot of states has him at 30-some%, around 34%. Nationally, he's at 27%, and he's doing really well. He's just struggling with ballot access, but he's going to get there by the time the election day comes. He will be there, or at all 50 states ballots. I know he will. I just feel he has it. He's continued to nominate, so let's keep it up, Bobby Kennedy. You guys got $1, donate to his campaign. Go campaign for him. Let's keep him going. Let's get him on those debates. Let's destroy this two-party system. Let's end it. Enough is enough. It is really needs to end, the two-party system. And Trump and Biden's going to turn us into a communist country. We can't have that. Trump's going to turn us into a dictatorship, possibly. We can't have that. Bobby Kennedy all the way. Bobby Kennedy 2024 continues to dominate the polls. And then finally, probably the biggest news out of everything, the upcoming Republican debate tomorrow night. The candidates, about an hour ago, a little under an hour, all the candidates were revealed who qualified. I honestly, so these are the four candidates that did qualify: Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Businessman, Florida governor, former South Carolina governor, former New Jersey governor, and Donald Trump obviously qualified, but he's not attending because he's a coward. So I'll be honest, I really didn't think Chris Christie was going to qualify for this. He must have just met the requirement today because the requirement, I believe, you had to be 5% nationally, and you had to have at least 2 states where you at 5%. He meets that in New Hampshire, but he didn't meet that in one of the other states. I think he might have done it in South Carolina, but he qualified. Good for him. So the advice to Chris Christie would be, he has to have a good debate stage. He has to dominate it. He cannot take a chance of just standing in the corner, because I feel that if he doesn't dominate this debate, the next debate he's not going to qualify for the stage, because both the second, third, and fourth debate he barely qualified for, or he was able to get himself up there, barely qualifying. First debate he got himself up there easily, but the rest he barely qualified for. So Chris Christie needs to step up his game. He needs to be aggressive. My main focus would be Nikki Haley because her surging, but then DeSantis is going up in the polls too. If I was Chris Christie, I'd be going to all three of them, clunking them. I'd be going to them all I got, all the willpower. I'd also keep going to Trump, even though he's too much of a coward. I'd make my point clear, and I would try my very best. Try to get as much time, be open in the conversation. That's the thing that I think Chris Christie's been struggling with. Now, yes, it's probably because he's an adult. He doesn't want to interrupt people, but when Nikki Haley, DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy are kind of getting all the attention on the stage, Chris Christie's been keeping quiet, not really participating openly in the conversation like a 2016 Chris Christie would have, and I really do think he needs to do that if he wants to keep himself going in this campaign, and if he wants to keep himself on the debate stage and stuff. He needs to have a good debate performance. I mean, they all do, because they're way behind Trump in most states and nationally. So initially, has gone up. He did well in the debate against Newsom. I mean, it was kind of chaotic, but he did do a lot better than I thought he was going to. So in New Hampshire, currently right now, Nikki Haley is still the main rival to Trump. So the current poll has former President Donald Trump at 30%. It has Nikki Haley at 17%. Chris Christie's in a close third with 16%. And then Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy are tied for fourth. They both have 8%. And then Asa Hutchinson's down at 1%. And then Doug Burgum was included in the poll, but I'm not going to talk about it. He was at like 3%. I'm not going to talk about him because he's dropped out of the race. But yeah, so that's the New Hampshire poll. The South Carolina poll, I believe it's Donald Trump is at 50%. Nikki Haley is in second with 15%. Chris Christie is in third with 13%. And I believe also that the Iowa poll is where it's not looking good for the candidates. Trump's at 62%. DeSantis is at 8%. He's in second. And then Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, and Chris Christie are all three tied at 2%. And Asa Hutchinson at 1%. Yeah, so these polls are not looking great for the candidates. You know, it's kind of crazy to think DeSantis, who's the governor of his own state, current governor, still in office, the fact that in his own state he's 30-some points. In Florida, he's 33 points behind Donald Trump. 33 points, and he just won re-election in a landslide. And then Nikki Haley, who was a popular former governor in South Carolina, she's behind Trump. Even Chris Christie in the state of New Jersey, who was elected twice, they're all behind him. You know, it's rough, you know, and my message to Asa Hutchinson is, I can commend him not giving up and him fighting to the key. He said he wants to take it to Super Tuesday. But he really... I mean, he hasn't been... There's literally... This is the third debate that he's not going to be invited to because he hasn't qualified. And he barely qualified for the first debate. So, I mean, yes, the RNC is very unfair, but... Do you really stand a chance? I'm not counting him out. Asa Hutchinson could very well get on the next debate stage and really dominate and get the nomination for, you know. But, you know, I'm kind of flip-flopping. I think after that debate, it boosts DeSantis' chances. It's all going to depend. I think Nikki Haley is still going to be the number one target. And I kind of hope she goes. You know, in all honesty, I don't like Ron DeSantis at all. Well, some of his beliefs I agree with and stuff, but I'm not going to freak out if he would become president. I wouldn't be scared for America. Same thing with Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson. But if Vivek Ramaswamy would become president and Donald Trump would become president or Nikki Haley, I'd be really scared, especially Nikki Haley. I'll tell you why. Now, Nikki Haley and Chris Christie both have very similar foreign policies, but she seems so much more determined to go to war than the other candidates. Yes, Chris Christie, I strongly disagree with him, but she could very well lead us to World War III. And Vivek Ramaswamy, he has no experience, and he's got radical beliefs. And Trump is just an election denier and democracy denier. So, I mean, we're going to have to see how it goes. It's probably just going to be another chaotic debate. Maybe since there's only 4 candidates on the debate stage, maybe it'll be a little less chaotic, even though I doubt it. Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy can't control themselves. Neither can DeSantis. So we're going to have to see. Hopefully they have good moderators that can actually control them. Yeah, everybody, that's the 2024 election update for December 4th, 2023. We're going to have to see. I mean, it's so crazy to think. It feels like the election is like 2 weeks away, or like a week away. Maybe a little longer than that, a little shorter. Even a few days away is what it feels like the general election is. But I mean, there's still 6 weeks to the Iowa caucus. 6 weeks, that's a long time in politics. And there's still over 10 months, a little less than 10 months actually, I should say, to the general election. So it's still a while off, but it just feels like it's just a couple days away. It feels like it's Christmas Eve. It feels like it's election night Eve. That's what it feels like. It really does feel like that. But, got a long way to go. We're going to have to see how it goes. I just hope RFK Jr. Hope 2 things happen. I hope RFK Jr. continues to do well, and I hope Chris Christie dominates the debate stage. Because really, those are the only 2 that I would even consider voting for in this election. I'm voting for Bobby Kennedy. But, yeah, so we're going to have to see everyone. Alright, that's it for this video. We're going to upload another one soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like this video. Please share this video. Please leave a comment. And please subscribe for more. Or the subscribing part is so important. If you could just click that bell. I know we get a lot of viewers that are just viewers and not subscribers. I appreciate you viewing it. I'd appreciate it even more if you'd subscribe. So, you just take your time to ding that bell and subscribe and boost this channel up and piss off other channels. We can do that. Alright everyone, thanks again for watching and have a good night.